Hi, my name is Shawn, and I'm one of the deacons here at Beacon of Hope Christ Chapel. I'm also our executive director, and I chair our board. And I want to invite you to a small gathering right now. It's a hard thing, I think, to look out into social media or outside our windows and see the mayhem that exists right now, to see that chaos that's everywhere and not to be affected by it. I know I'm affected by it, and I know a lot of friends and family that are feeling affected by it. So I wanted to just talk to you for a few minutes, just share a few thoughts with you. The first thing I want you to understand is that I realize that everyone has a very personal faith and a very personal relationship with God. My relationship may be different from yours. Your relationship may be different from mine. I'm not saying one is better. I'm not saying one is worse. I'm saying they may be different. The God I know that speaks to me through the Bible, He's filled with love. He's filled with love. I'm going to cite a passage to you. This is in the New Testament, book of Matthew, chapter 22, starts at verse 36. Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Jesus replied, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. That's what God says. That's what Jesus says about how we should deal with each other. We should love each other. Nowhere in there was unless someone is, but in case of. It's just all about love. I want to invite you to watch a video. It's not terribly long, about 4 minutes, and then I'll be back after that.
This is not my gospel that builds these walls between us, drawing borders that separate, raising flags of supremacy, empires of hate in the name of freedom. This is not my gospel that casts the immigrant out, pulling mothers' urgent hands from the cries of their children, expelling souls to isolation because of the color of their skin, their sexuality, the gender, the class, the nation they live in. This is not my gospel that spits on the face of God, lashing his image with words of rejection, warmongering, dominating the weak, diminishing salvation to a conditional thing, while hope lies lost and bleeding, weeping for relief. This is not my gospel that turns communities inwards, planting distrust in their hearts towards the beauty of difference, labeling neighbors as enemies and defining us by division. This is not my gospel with its eyes full of pride, when injustice is clothed in lies, when grace is caged, we face the great divide, humanity displaced from love. My gospel is love, who crossed the chasm between heaven and earth, speaking worth to all in endless benevolence, Love who sat in the dirt with the rejected, erasing their shame with the touch of acceptance, who reached for those society deserted, embracing the leper, the filthy, the hurting. Love who clutched the souls of his rivals in nail-pierced hands, holding them free from hell's vicious venom, declaring them brother, sister, cherished, forgiven. Love who tore the temple veil, divine grasping flesh, flesh clutching divine, crying, "You are mine." Precious mankind, awake from your slumber and open your eyes to love. Who walked through the walls, crossing the divide with burning passion, calling for those who have lost their place, breaking tomb after tomb after tomb to reveal a world of eternal embrace. This is my gospel. This is the cry heard in the night of unrest, clutched close to heartbroken chests, crying, "Reach for me, reach past the borders, reach to the wounds that have torn us apart. Plant seeds of compassion where malice has grown. Throw your arms open and welcome the forsaken home. Break down the walls that hate has raised. Turn your eyes to the face of the shame, then realize that it is mine. It is yours. We are one, reborn and remade. Let the stars fall. Let mercy cascade. Let the heavens pour. I gave you my all. I will give it again and again and again. I throw down my kingship. I throw down my fame. To be with you in the rejection. To hold you in the pain. You are not the outsider, nor a child of shame. Let the depths proclaim to the heights above that you are loved.
I hope you got something out of that video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know that it's hard right now for a lot of people. It's hard for people who don't look so much like me. I recognize that I have had a lot of things that I've had to deal with in my life. But I've never had to deal with discrimination and out and out hatred like some of my friends have to. And I'm here to say to you today that Black Lives Matter. I'm here to say to you today that Black Lives Matter. We need to stop hurting our fellow friends, neighbors, family members, and instead help them. You see a lot of looting going on TV because I guess it makes good TV. You see a lot of people who are singled out. I can't tell you that I wouldn't be in that same situation if I'd spent the last 400 years in this country being oppressed. I don't know what to do other than to say, I'm here to help. I'm here to say that whatever we can do, I believe that Jesus is calling us to help. I don't know what that help looks like. I don't know what that outcome is going to be. I do know that I'm supposed to help. Because in the Bible, Jesus has told me to love my neighbor as myself. So that means that I need to help wherever and whenever I can. This church that I belong to was founded 50 years ago this year. It was founded in the back room of a bar in Garden Grove, and the cops kept shutting it down because they said, it was too loud. Too loud in a bar. So we were able to persist and continue, and eventually made it into where we were meeting every week. We had friends. We had family. We had people who had our backs. We had people who helped us, who had our backs, who told us that they would be there for us no matter what. I think that's where we should be right now. I think we should be helping our brothers and sisters so they know that they are not alone. So yes, Black Lives Matter. I've had it explained to me a dozen different ways and a dozen different times, and I have to admit that the first time or two it took a while to sink in. Why don't all lives matter? Well, that's not what Black Lives Matter is saying. Black Lives Matter is saying that Black lives matter as much as anyone else's lives matter. Black lives matter too. A black life matters just as much as my life. Sometimes it's hard to wrap your head around how we interpret those things. But my head's wrapped there right now, and I understand it. I want to encourage everybody who sees this to reach out and do what you can. I want to encourage everyone who sees this to actively work for peace and tranquility. I'm reminded of a song that I used to sing in college all the time. And I asked some friends to help me put together a version. So if you stick around for a few moments, maybe we can all sing together. Until then, or until I see you again, may God care for you. May you stay safe. And may we always be together in His service.